Welcome to the European Football Show on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. I'm Patrick Mullen, joined once again by Blair Malloy. The sun is shining in Glasgow, so we've taken the European Football Show on tour. We're here at Ibrox after last night's 0-0 draw between Rangers and Athletic Bilbao. Blair, first of all, the atmosphere was incredible. What did you make of the game?
Just another incredible European night here at Ibrox. They seem to pull off these results when it comes to this latter part of this tournament, Patrick. I don't quite know how Rangers keep managing to do it. Coming into last night's game off the back of 5 straight defeats here at Ibrox, it looked as though for all the world it may be 6 when that red card happened for Ruben Proper so early on, after just 12 minutes down to 10 men against this Bilbao side that were so highly talked of, so highly fancied, especially in the attacking areas. And what a dogged performance Rangers put in to a man that they stepped up brilliantly and defended with their absolute lives.
I think every Rangers fan heading into the ground yesterday would have almost been dreaming of taking a result over to Spain. But after that red card, as you mentioned, it all changed. What a performance it was. But I've got to get your opinion. What did you make of that red card? Red card for you?
I think it's a red card, Patrick. I think it's a clumsy tackle. I think he goes in when you go in that area, you're always going to give the referee a decision to make. He's one-on-one, he's going through with the goalkeeper, and he just cleans him out. And I think it's just Ruben Proper. He's maybe just one step too slow for him. He's maybe just behind him, and I think it's a rash tackle to make, and I think probably the right decision. I'm not sure if you agree, if you think it's a red card.
I don't agree. I think it's a terrible tackle, as you said. But I think you set a dangerous precedent almost saying that's a red card. For me, if it's a clear goal-scoring opportunity that you're denying, that I think of an attacker running through and a defender hacking him out right as he's about to shoot. Yes, he's made a good touch. Yes, he's bringing the ball into the box. But it's outside the box. As you mentioned, if it was inside the box, it wouldn't be a red card. It would have been a penalty, no double jeopardy. So I think it was harsh on Robin Proper. He'll be a big miss in the second leg. But Rangers, they dug in, and it was a performance that Barry Ferguson was definitely happy to see.
I couldn't care less of the 100% possession. I said that to the boys. So making sure we don't concede. And we've done that. We had to play a certain way, as I said, really low, 2 banks of 4 really tight together, and if somebody jumps out of that, then it causes us problems. But again, I'm delighted that they took the information on, and it was key that we had to do that.
The big talking point before the game was the decision to drop Jack Butland in goal and replace him with Liam Kelly. A fantastic performance for Liam Kelly.
Yeah, he couldn't really be more vindicated. I think Liam Kelly was in the post-match last night saying that a quiet goalkeeper is a happy goalkeeper. He wants to have not really much involvement in the game. I mean, almost got his wish there up until that penalty. The disallowed goal was a little bit confusing when the goal was then disallowed. It was pulled back for a penalty. I think for my money it was a harsh penalty. I think Dujon Sterling, there's nothing he can do with his hand there. His body weight is taking him into that position, and it's just hit his hand. But Liam Kelly, he's stepped up, and I think you see a lot of times when goalkeeper it comes off their feet and you think, oh, he's got a bit lucky there. For me, Liam Kelly knows exactly what he's doing. He's put the ball down the middle, and Kelly, he's put a big leg up there to bat it away straight over the bar, and a brilliant performance. And Barry Ferguson, he made the right choice.
Obviously the big competition between Jack Butland and Liam Kelly, but it was nice to see after the game, those two embracing each other. It's all about a team performance. He spoke after the game about how much of a good partnership they have together off the field, and Liam Kelly will now take his chance. How do you back Rangers' chances heading into the second leg, though?
Yeah, just in the goalkeeper situation, Patrick, I mean, a lot of people are talking about, is this now the end for Jack Butland? I think it's maybe a bit premature to start talking about that. I think Liam Kelly came in and performed admirably last night. I think there's a lot of football still to be played, and I think there's a lot of twists and turns still to come. As for the next leg, well, I'll be leaving for Bilbao on Monday, and I'll be over there keeping you abreast of all the goings on over there in the Basque Country on PLZ Soccer. And I think Rangers have got every chance now. I think they just had to go into the second leg still in the tie. I think every Rangers fan would have told you last night, stay in the game, go over there with something to get a hold of, and a 0-0 draw is certainly that. It was a Walter Smith-esque performance last night from Barry Ferguson. Sit in and just dig it out, and I think they may do the second leg, and it may just be enough.
It's all set up for an absolute classic game. But Athletic Bilbao, they are one of the favourites to win this competition. They are going to be a tricky test over there in the stadium where the final of the Europa League is taking place. So they'll back themselves to go all the way. And I'm looking forward to doing a European show with you over in Spain. Moving on to another good game in the Europa League. Lyon 2, Manchester United 2. All the talk before the game was about that Onana and Matic beef as such. And well, it came to fruition. Onana, he's struggling, isn't he, in that Man United net?
Yeah, well, this is, of course, the winner of this tie will play the winner of Rangers and Athletic Club. And I think Andre Onana, you've got to feel for him, because all of the talk going into that game yesterday was this back and forth between himself and Nemanja Matic. Nemanja Matic called him out and he said statistically he's one of the worst goalkeepers in Manchester United's history. He was very clever. He didn't say he was a bad goalkeeper. He just said that statistically he's not been doing well. And when all that pressure is on you, it just seemed to, it was almost inevitable that mistake was coming. And then two of them, the first one, it's a shot that he probably should do better with. He's palmed it out, and it's as if he's just mistimed the palm altogether. And then the second one, he has to clear it away, Patrick. He can't let the ball bounce into that danger area. And you just wonder how much those Nemanja Matic comments have affected him before the game.
It's just disappointing to see from Manchester United. You know, they take the lead, 3 minutes to go. Josh Rozerski, and a really nice header, getting on the end of that Bruno Fernandes cross. Hold the game out, take something back to Old Trafford. Man United are similar to Rangers as such. They struggle at home. They seem to be playing their best football away from home. Can you get that lead? And they just couldn't manage to do it. Onana, for me, he's not Manchester United's long-term future in their net. You look at the names that even Nemanja Matic mentioned, Van der Sar, David De Gea, these players, Peter Schmeichel, you know, these goalkeepers have been staples in that Manchester United net. For Onana, it's been an error-stricken season, and he's had that since he's come into the club. I can see him being part of that rebuild and him kind of making way this summer.
Yep, I think he's not long for Manchester United. As far as the main game goes, Ruben Amorim, he said that he didn't think that was a major contributing factor, and he's promised that he's going to look after Andre Onana and just try and make him better.
I don't know, that can happen. The best thing is to look at the goals and all the actions that Andre had in the game, to talk with Vital and Craig and try to. This is the best way to help any player, is to focus on the game, what happened, what we need to improve, and then put the player again.
From the Europa League to the Champions League, Tuesday and Wednesday delivered some absolute classic games, but also some belter of goals, Blair. The calibre of goals we were seeing across the board was just spectacular.
Yeah, it could have been a goal of the season competition over Tuesday and Wednesday, Patrick. It was some incredible goals, as we always expect at this stage of the Champions League. We've spoke about it. This is when it really gets good. Yeah. This is the time of the season where it's box office viewing. Every Tuesday, Wednesday, you're sitting down and you know you're going to get an absolute belter of a clash. And we were treated to two on Tuesday night. That game between Arsenal and Real Madrid, it was unbelievable. Yeah. We were watching the first half, and I'll be honest, at half time there was nothing doing between the two of them for me. Much of a muchness. I thought Real Madrid could take this, Arsenal could take it. All he needs is Kylian Mbappe to take one of his chances, and then Declan Rice does what Declan Rice does.
Unbelievable. I was sitting at home on the sofa and I actually sent Blair a message, and I just said, I've just screamed in my flat. Not an Arsenal fan, not a Real Madrid fan, but I couldn't believe what I was seeing. This is a game that was dubbed as the biggest game at the Emirates almost since its creation. Fans were paying, I saw a video, fans were paying £300, £500, £800 for a ticket. And while you don't want to see that sort of ticket touting, you can understand why. What an incredible game. Declan Rice, never scored a free kick in his career before, steps up and scores two absolute pearlers.
The first one, I'll admit, I was a bit critical of the goalkeeper on first viewing. I watched it back. It starts so far out of the post and then curls in. I was like, hands up, fair play. That's an incredible goal. And then the second one, as you say, it's one of those moments where no matter who you support, unless you're a Real Madrid or a Spurs fan, probably, I think you're up, your hands are on your head. I think Martin Odegaard summed it up when he was just standing in utter disbelief, watching it from behind. It could not be more in the postage stamp, Patrick. Absolutely perfect. And I think Mikel Arteta described just how good a moment that was.
It's been very determined because we have talked in the last few months. We haven't scored a direct free kick since September 2021. Burnley away, Martin Odegaard. So it's been a long time. So to score 2 goals in 12 minutes of that magnitude, of that quality from the same player, a player that has never scored a free kick before in his career, I mean, what are the odds? But he's done it tonight, and I'm a big believer. I think the crowd played something with the energy that they put in, and it helped us massively to win the game.
So Patrick, it's very much advantage Arsenal going into that second leg, but Real Madrid, you never can write them off.
You just can't. They've had so many examples in this Champions League, not only this season, but in years gone by, where they come back from behind. 2018, 3-0 down after the first leg against Juventus. they win the tie at the Bernabeu. Even this season, 2-1 down against Manchester City, 10 minutes to play, they win the game 3-2. This Real Madrid side, Carlo Ancelotti, playing at the Bernabeu, will not be phased. We mentioned it just before coming on air. You could see them going 2-0 up in 10 minutes, and then it's about what bottle do Arsenal have. They've struggled in the Premier League this season. Again, it looks like Champions League looks to be their shining light. Their Arsenal fans feel they can go all the way, but I just have a slight feeling that Real Madrid could come back in this one.
Just a little nugget of hope for the Arsenal fans, though. That's now 3 times they've played Real Madrid since the year 2000, and they've still not conceded a goal. So if they can keep that up, then they're certainly on to a winner. And if we take ourselves back to Wednesday evening, one of the other teams that will certainly be fancying himself for this competition now, I think personally my favourite team to watch in the competition so far this year, PSG. They are absolutely dynamite. They are a team that flies in the face of modern football and modern tactics. They just get the ball and they go. They get the ball and they run. And that front three that started, Kvaratskhelia, Doué, Dembele, electric, absolutely electric. And then to be able to bring Bradley Barcola off the bench, he's one of the most exciting players in Europe, is a terrifying attack.
We talked about quality finishes in the Champions League. The first goal, Morgan Rogers for Aston Villa, a lovely teamwork goal. He was there at the back post, completely cut PSG open. And then you talk about individual brilliances. Doué and Kvaratskhelia, probably the finishes of the tournament so far. Yeah. That young teenager, he is being electric in this Champions League.
I remember watching him at the 2024 Olympics, when he was playing for the French team, and he was lighting it up then. And this was when he came from Rennes. He was a young player just making his way in Ligue 1, and everybody knew this boy was going to be special. PSG took him as part of this new signing policy, as we spoke about earlier in the season. PSG have been in this transitional mode of moving away from the superstars, moving into younger French-based players, and he is one of them that is certainly lighting it up. But it's not just that. The signings they've made have been impressive. The signings they've made have not been superstars, but they've complemented that team so well. You look at Vitinha. Vitinha was a player who was playing for Wolves just a couple of years ago and couldn't get in the team. And he absolutely controlled that game the other night. And then you look at when they need to go and buy that little bit of star power, they go and buy Kvaratskhelia. He was a superstar for Napoli a couple of years ago when they won the title in Serie A. And he's fitted into this PSG team just so well. And his little roll across the defender for his goal the other night, it was absolutely spectacular. I've seen a few videos that slowed down and you just watch Axel Disasi. He doesn't know where the ball's going to be. Kvaratskhelia skips past him, and then what a finish into the top corner. A wonderful goal.
Aston Villa would have felt they were still in that tie completely until that third goal. It's a real killer. But what a moment for Nuno Mendes. He looked like he was playing almost a five-a-side game. Just kind of takes the touch, sits the defender, sits the goalkeeper down, and then puts it into the far corner. I'm not going to say it's over for Aston Villa. Their manager, for sure, is definitely not thinking it. Here's what Unai Emery had to say after the game.
Good evening. It's not changing a lot because with 2-1, we were thinking for the next match, playing to win. And with 3-1, still being the same. We need win the next match, not only for 1 goal, for 2.
An incredible performance from PSG, maybe only matched in attacking senses by Barcelona this year. They're another team who have been on fire going forward.
They are unbelievable, this Barcelona team. You talked about the pace of that front three for PSG. That's almost matched by this Barcelona side. Lewandowski, Rafinha and Lamine Yamal. Those front three have been incredible. They're top of La Liga. They're chasing a treble. And let me just give you a few stats about this front three of Barcelona. Lewandowski got 2 goals in that 4-0 victory against Borussia Dortmund. He's 36 years old. 36 years old. He's on 38 goals for the season now in all competitions.
That's an unbelievable number.
That is unbelievable. Rafinha, he got 2 goals and 2 assists and a goal for him. Maybe he stat padded that goal. He wouldn't. I don't think he'd be too happy about that diving in. But he is Ballon d'Or hunting this season. Unbelievable. 12 goals and 7 assists in the Champions League. We're in the quarterfinals, and that's 27 goals and 18 assists in all competitions. This Barcelona team are electric this season.
And it's so interesting with Barcelona because a lot has been made about what's happening off the pitch and the selling of future things down the line to basically liquidate themselves now and keep the money coming in. And they were actually looking at getting rid of Rafinha not less than 6 months ago. This is a guy who, for a lot of this season, has carried this team on his shoulders, and especially in the Champions League. You look at the performances that he has put in. Who would have seen this coming when he was at Leeds United?
Yeah.
I mean, he was a cult hero at Leeds United, but the fact he's managed to go to Barcelona and managed to step it up to another level, he's certainly one of the top 10 players in the world this season. He's been absolutely on fire, and he has been a shining light in this Champions League. But from all of the wonderful goals this week, Patrick, I'm going to have to ask you, what is your favourite from Tuesday and Wednesday?
There's too many. There's too many to count.
I'll put you on the spot.
If you're going to put me on the spot, I know we've already talked about it. Declan Rice, free kick number 2. For someone that's never scored a free kick in their career,
Yeah.
you know, everyone's seen it, you know, puts the ball down. And you see the, what's his name, the free kick specialist coach.
Yes,
He's like,
yes.
whip it, you know, cross it into the box.
He'll be taking all the credit for that and putting it in the top corner.
It's Rice, baby. He bullets the ball into the far right-hand corner. I loved it. Blair, yourself?
I think I'm going a little bit one that's maybe not been talked about as much. For me, Lautaro Martinez for Inter Milan. Such an important goal and such a clever finish against Bayern Munich. It's a wonderful team move to build it up, and then with the outside of the boot, he almost looks as though he's going to bend it in the far corner, and then he puts it in the outside of the boot in the near post. It's a wonderful finish. And Inter Milan, I think they're a team that are just slowly ticking over. Maybe don't have the attacking threat and score all these goals as other teams, but they've only conceded 3 goals in the tournament so far, Patrick, and that is something that can take you a long way in the Champions League. Could they just go all the way by keeping teams out at the other end?
Well, if you're not conceding goals and you're playing at home in a cauldron like the San Siro, anything is possible. Before we head into the second legs, Blair, I want some Champions League predictions.
Okay.
Who's heading through?
So I think PSG will get through against Aston Villa.
Yeah.
I think Arsenal will hang on against Real Madrid.
Okay.
I think Inter Milan will get through against Bayern Munich. And I think Barcelona will go through against Borussia Dortmund.
Just for a bit of fun, I have 2 separate ones.
Okay.
I think that Real Madrid will beat Arsenal. I think they've got it in the
That
bag.
would be the comeback of all comebacks.
I'm looking
Patrick.
forward to
Get
seeing
your
that.
money on that right
Yeah.
now if you trust this man's opinion.
I wouldn't. And then I've got Bayern Munich to overcome Inter Milan at the San Siro. Only time will tell, but sadly, that is all we have time for here on the European Football Show. Thanks again for joining us. From myself and Blair Malloy, we'll be back next week with Blair making an appearance from Bilbao. All the best.